Okay, great. So my name is Dave Nelson. I am president and CEO at a company called Integrity. We are an information security consulting firm based in Ankeny. We have offices in Kansas City and Dallas. So we have clients all over the U.S. Some of our clients are international. And so I wanted to come up and talk to you all a little bit tonight just about cybersecurity careers in general, give you kind of a quick overview of what's happening in Iowa. If you're wanting to stay in Iowa for a cyber career, there are a ton of opportunities available to you. I want to give you a couple of tips for how to interview for some of those positions, what some of these companies are looking for, some of the different career tracks that you need to start thinking about as you start looking at, okay, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? What kind of cyber field am I going to be in? But really what I wanted to do is also make myself available for y'all to ask me questions. What's it like? What should I think about? Where can I go? What are my opportunities? Whatever. I have 4 kids. 2 are teenagers, 2 are just under teenagers, so there's nothing that you can do that's going to throw me off my game, okay? You can nod your head, you can roll your eyes, you can nod off, fall asleep, you can ooh, ah, ah, interrupt me. I'm totally fine with that, okay? I'd rather have you ask me questions rather than me just standing up here and drone on for 30 minutes. That's not going to help you at all, okay? The only thing I will ask is I wear hearing aids, so it is very difficult to hear. I'm going to turn them up into a different mode here in a second, but if you're going to ask me a question, please yell it so that I can hear you. And if I can't hear you, I'm going to ask somebody else to relay it to me. All right? Sound good? Okay, perfect. So, how many of you want to stay in Iowa after you're done with school? How many of you have had enough of Iowa and you want to move someplace else? Good, you'll be back. Okay. I actually am not originally from Iowa. I was born in Florida, grew up in Virginia, but my family is all here in Iowa. My wife was from Iowa, and so I found myself sticking around in Iowa. And it is a great place to live, a lot of fun stuff to do. Save some of that craziness for the coast or for the big city. Go visit, have fun, but then don't have to worry about traffic every day when you want to drive and get to work, and you don't have to take a train and all of those types of things. The other great thing about staying in Iowa is you're very close to a lot of different things, okay? From a career perspective, you're very, very close. You can get a remote job anywhere, okay? People are looking for central location where you can fly in and out of easily. Des Moines is actually becoming a much easier place to fly in and out of, okay? So if you're looking for a career and you want to work for some big company that's not based in Iowa, that's okay. Find out if they'd be willing to do it remote, okay? Some jobs can be done remote, some can. Right? So a couple of things that you really need to start thinking about right now, today, is where your career is going to take you. Okay? When you look at cybersecurity, it's this what everybody assumes is a very narrow job field, and you're in cybersecurity and everybody does the same thing, and it couldn't be further from the truth. Okay? To give you an idea, okay, just at my small company, we have penetration testers, we have SOC analysts, we have vulnerability analysts, we have security consultants. I mean, it goes on and on. Those security consultants focus on kind of risk management and vCISO. Some of them are HIPAA and PCI compliance and different things. So there's a ton of different ways that you can go in your career. One of the things that you need to begin to think about right now today is, do you want to take more of a technical track, or do you want to take more of a business track? It's not that you can't cross over later, but you need to start thinking about where do your interests lie. Okay? If you love to just geek out, okay, get the hardware, get the equipment, get the software, dig into the code, those types of things, you're going to be more on the technical side. And that's great. We need people in that arena. Okay? If you say, that's a lot of computers for me. Okay? I like security, and I like engineering, and I like code development, and I like networking, but I'm not sure I want to do that all day long. I kind of like business. I kind of like understanding risk models, and I kind of like understanding law and compliance and those things. Okay, great. There's a track for you as well. But they're very, very different in how you get there, okay? So as you begin to think through, okay, what kind of job do I want? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. Do I want to be able to geek out over here on the technical side, or do I want to be able to geek out over here on the business side, okay? One of the biggest problems that I see, okay, I interview a lot of people. one of the biggest problems that I see is when I sit you down and I ask you, what is it that you want to do? You either tell me, I don't know, or you tell me some wild, crazy thing that there's only like 3 people in the world that do that, okay? You get to pick something in between, okay? Don't tell me I don't know, and don't tell me I'll do anything you want me to do. That's great. I know you'll do anything I want you to do because I'm paying your salary, okay? That's kind of par for the course. I pay you, you do what I tell you to do. So I get that. I get that you're eager. I get that you're just out of school. I get that you want that first job. And by golly, you'll do whatever I ask you to do and whatever I tell you to do, okay? What I want to know is, what do you want to do? Where does your passion lie, okay? What are the things that excite you, that get you going, okay? Because that is where you're going to be best utilized in my organization, okay? Now, can I guarantee you that you're going to be able to do that in this particular job? No. But what I want to know is, what is it that excites you? Do you have a passion? If you stand there or sit there and you just nod your head and you agree with everything that I say, I'm going to assume that you're a yes man or a yes woman and can't make decisions on your own, and I'm going to have to baby you and coddle you and watch over you, and I don't want to hire you, okay? So here's your best answer. Your best answer is, Dave, what I like to do is hack web applications. I like to find the vulnerabilities. I like to look through session management. I like to look through authentication mechanisms, and I like to just dive into those things. However, I realize that might not be what this position is, and so therefore, this is how I would take what I love doing and apply it to the position that you have. That is a perfect answer. That shows me 2 things. Shows me, 1, you know what you want to do. You're mature enough to have an idea of what it is that you like to do, okay? Second thing is, shows me problem solving, okay? It shows me that you understand that I might not have the perfect position for you, but you still want this job, and you're willing to extrapolate and understand how this thing that you want to do, your passion, applies to the job that I have. Okay? That's what I need. I need people that can think outside of the box. I need people that can look at something and say, here's an abstract idea. Here's how I'm going to solve that abstract idea. Okay? If you can't do those things, you're no good to me, to any other employer. Okay? Because especially in cybersecurity, it's just simply not mature enough for me to give you a very big task list and say, go do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, and come back to me. There's a few jobs that are like that, and they're really, really boring. And you're not going to like them for very long, okay? Because you're all in a very good career field. You're all studying, okay? Computer science, MIS, computer engineering, whatever, okay? Information assurance. And so it tells me you're pretty smart. You got a good head on your shoulders, okay? So show me how you're going to do those things, and I will show you how I can provide you an opportunity to grow, okay? The other thing that you have to be able to do in an interview is speak to me in coherent sentences. Grunting doesn't work, okay? I have to be able to understand what you say. Okay? Here's one of the biggest problems all technology workers have. Anybody can guess? Anybody guess? What's the #1 problem technology workers have? Communication. Okay? Most of us are introverts. How many of you would believe that I'm an introvert? Good. I am, by nature. I'm an introvert. I will go home after talking to 30 of you, and I will be physically exhausted, because I do not look at this as an opportunity to make 30 new friends. Okay? This is, for me, this is work. Okay? I look pretty good up here, pretty comfortable up here. I do a ton of public speaking, but at the end of the day, I'm an introvert. I would love to just be behind my computer, out on a tractor, under the hood of a car. Find me something like that to work on and fix and deal with and not have to deal with people, and I'm good. However, what I've learned in my career is that's not the way you get things done. Okay? You have to be able to show that you can communicate effectively in that interview. That is your one opportunity to prove it. Okay? If you can't do it in that first interview, Moving on to the next person until I find somebody that can, okay? Work on your verbal communication skills. Work on your written skills, okay? Anybody here written a resume? Anybody here gone to career services and had them review it? You all need to get into career services and have them review it, okay? You all need to go find somebody that's in HR, in the real world, and have them review your resume. A bunch of bulleted lists of about 3 or 4 words, each bullet, doesn't tell me anything about what you can do. It doesn't tell me anything about what problems you've solved. It doesn't tell me anything about how you think, okay? It just gives me a couple of bullet points of, yeah, you and everybody else have done that. Great. Tell me how you applied that. Tell me what problems you solved. Tell me what things you accomplished, okay? And do it eloquently, okay? Your resume should not be one of those papers, okay, that you skimp on. Okay? This is not like, middle of some lit class and you're like, I just don't have time to deal with this. C work is okay. No. C work should not be okay for your resume. Okay? You need to make sure that this is your one and only chance, because you will never get the chance to come talk to me in person and explain to me how well you communicate, explain to me your skill set, explain to me how you're going to solve problems that I have if you never get that first interview. Okay? So make sure that your resume is top notch. Have lots of people look at it. Send it to somebody like me, okay? Call me up and say, hey, would you be willing to look at my resume? Dave, I heard you come talk at the IA student group meeting. Could we have lunch maybe sometime and I pick your brain about what should be on my resume, okay? Now, if all 3 of you call me next week, I'm gonna have to take a rain check on a couple of you, all right? But the idea is find somebody that you trust. Find somebody that you can work with. They can give you some pointers, okay? Somebody like me that actually is a hiring manager, not just one of your pals or your dad's buddy at work or whatever, okay? Find somebody that is a hiring manager that looks at resumes and says, hey, this is good, you need to work on this area, okay? The other thing that you really need to think about is checking your ego at the door, okay? I'm guessing most of you have talked to career services, and if you're looking at any sort of information security, computer engineering, any information assurance type of role, they're promising you $100,000, $125,000, you can write your ticket, blah, 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 okay? I'm here to tell you that the blah, 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 blah ain't happening, okay? Certainly there are careers out there. Certainly there are places, if you go to New York City, if you go to DC, you go to Chicago, you go to Dallas, you go to some of these places, yes, they may offer you a 6-figure salary coming out of school. I guarantee you it's not going to be the work you think it's going to be, okay? For one, you're not going to have a ton of flexibility and freedom and independence, okay? So you have to really think through this and say, wow, do I have any experience? Okay? This is the most critical thing I can tell you. Get some experience, okay? While you're in school, volunteer for the cyber defense competitions to help monitor those. Participate in those. Go get a part-time job actually doing vulnerability scans, actually dealing with user account lockouts or security event monitoring or something, okay? Get an internship where you're doing code reviews, okay? When I'm looking at a resume, the ones where they have some real world experience, go to the top. The ones that are written well, and the ones that have real world experience are the ones that I review first. And I get through all of those. And then if I don't find the candidate that I want after I've interviewed them, then I go to the next pile, okay? So you have to find out what's happening, what's going on. So the young man who just left had a great question. What if I'm not a technology major? What if I'm a math major or a business major? Have you ever hired anybody? Yes. One of my best consultants was a business administration major, and she is fantastic, Okay, so there's two things there. One, you don't have to be a guy to do this. There's lots of room for females in this profession, and we love to see different perspective there. Okay. Two, you do not have to have a technical background. Okay. Now, there might be some organizations that that's exactly what they need, and they're not willing to train somebody, and those types of things. That's great. I look for aptitude. Can you learn? Can you teach yourself? Do you have passion? Is this something that you want to do? Because if this is something you want to do, you're going to find a way to learn it, okay? So that's kind of my philosophy on that, and that's really the philosophy of a lot of what I would say good managers in this field, okay? If you want to know whether or not you want to work for the person who's interviewing you, ask two questions. Number one, what's your view on continuing education and lifelong learning? Okay? If they give you some spiel about, oh, this is great, here, this is what it is, this is, yeah, I supported everything else, that's great. That tells me that, yeah, that's the corporate answer, okay? If he says or she says, well, let me explain to you how we go about that here. Here's the process that we use. Here's how we help you with that, okay? That's the type of company and manager that you want to work with, okay? The second type of, or the second question you need to ask that manager is, how will I know that you are pleased with my performance? And if they say, well, I'm not sure. I mean, I'll tell you if I'm pleased, I'll tell you if I'm not. I guarantee you they're never going to tell you, and you're going to be frustrated. And one day you're going to walk into their office, and they're going to say, hey, we've had a whole bunch of problems, and we're just done. Goodbye. Thank you. Okay? And you're going to be completely blindsided. Okay? What you want to be able to do is say, here, this individual say, well, there's continuous feedback, okay? We have weekly or monthly or bi-weekly one-on-one meetings, okay? You're free to come in and talk to me at any point in time. I'm going to tell you if you're doing a good job. I'm going to tell you if you're not doing a good job, okay? Myself, what I typically say is I'm a no news is good news type of person, okay? Except for our regularly scheduled one-on-ones. That's where we sit and we talk about those things. The rest of the week, you know what? I'm not going to pat your back and tell you, oh, good job for coming into work on time. Well, that's kind of what we expect, okay? Good job for getting your reports done on time. Well, that's kind of what we expect, okay? I'll tell you, hey, that report looked really good. Hey, nice job communicating that to the customer, okay? That's what you want to see. You want to know, how will I know whether or not the job that I'm doing is good, great, exceptional, horrible, lousy, whatever, okay? Where do I stand with you, okay? So, I've talked a little bit here. Give me some questions. What do you want to know? Okay? Remember, you got to yell at me.
If you worked for your company, so say like you like pen testing, but you're also interested in like auditing and stuff like that. Do you get to like cycle through roles? Like maybe there's like a job that has to do with auditing.
I'm sorry, do you get to what?
Like maybe if you're like doing pen testing one week, and then the next week there's like a job opening for like auditing a customer or something like that. You would say like, I'd like to take that on.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Yep, so like at our company, we have two divisions. One is our managed services division, one is our consulting division. So the consultants deal with things like IT audits, bank audits, HIPAA, PCI compliance, risk management, kind of strategy, disaster recovery, architecture review, firewall review, that sort of stuff. Okay? The managed services deal with penetration testing, managed vulnerability scanning, and then our SIM environment, so security information and event management. So we've got collectors out at clients. It sends security event log data back to the collector, which sends it back to our analysis engine. The analysis engine runs, spits out alerts. The SOC analysts look at that and say, I'm not worried about this, or, oh, holy cow, let's get some more information, or, oh, wow, this is the end of the world for these guys. So within those two divisions, there's a ton of opportunity to cross-train and do different things on a daily basis. Across divisions, there's less of an opportunity. They certainly are talking back and forth, and there's a lot of interaction there. but I'm not going to take a SOC analyst and then go put them out on an audit. It's just two very different skill sets. Now, if a SOC analyst says, I would like to move into auditing, now I've got a career path that I can say, yep, okay, here's what we need to do to begin to get you that way. Or if a SOC analyst says, I want to move into pen testing, or a pen tester says, I want to move into HIPAA compliance. Okay, we've got some opportunities. And in most organizations, that's an opportunity. By the year 2020, so 3 years from now, there will be 1.5 million unfilled cybersecurity positions, okay? Now, that does not mean that you have a blank check and you can go into anybody's organization and hold a gun to their head, hold them over a barrel and say, give me $250,000 and I'll come work for you. It ain't gonna work that way, okay? We'll just say, sorry, we'll just let the work wait and we'll figure it out at some point, okay? There's still this risk business equation, okay? I gotta have the economics of it, okay? Good question. What else? Nothing? Yeah.
So, not so off topic, but a little bit off topic. What is, in your specific company, your work environment like for your workers, so your auditors, pen testers? Is it silent or is it like very high pressure? Gotta do this and then gotta do that.
Depends on the day. Typically, we have a lot of fun, so we're shorts, t-shirts. I'm dressed up because I had a client meeting, a big company downtown. I was meeting with CEO this morning, so I got dressed up, and I figured I'd just stay dressed up for you guys. I would say, for the most part, we're pretty easygoing. There's certainly, right now, fourth quarter is always our busy time, so everybody's kind of under the gun to get a bunch of stuff done. We're growing like gangbusters. I have 5 open positions that I'm actively trying to fill, so there's a ton of opportunity there. So we've got a lot of work, more work than we can handle right now. But there's also times when we're all out playing basketball at lunchtime, or tennis, or I don't play the Wii very much, but other people are, they're playing Mario Kart and Smash Brothers and some of the other stuff on Wii. So we play hard and we work hard. Everybody in my organization gets along great. If you can't get along, you're done. You're gone. We're not gonna. I mean, it's just I can't have bad apples. I can't have egos. I can't have people that think that they're all that in a bag of chips and I could never find anybody else. That's not gonna fly at our organization. So, what else? Yeah.
Like, for example, I guess if you're like a student still and you get like the Security Plus or the certified FA hacker, do you look at that as a good thing, or would you rather them wait to have like a year's experience in the field and then go after it?
So I look at, I call it my 3-prong approach. I look at experience, education, and certification. In and of itself, not one of those things tells me anything about you, okay? Just because you've got 15, 20 years of experience doesn't mean you can actually do anything, okay? Just because you have certifications or just because you have education doesn't tell me you can do anything, okay? I look at the whole body of work, okay? Certainly certifications are helpful. As you become a part of our company, you have to get certifications because they mean something to our clients, but I don't make hiring decisions based on whether or not you have a certification or don't. So, rarely do we look at that as a requirement for the job to get in. It certainly is a requirement to keep the job, mostly from a marketing perspective, okay, to our clients, from a consulting perspective. Now, there are organizations out there. John Deere is a great example. Depending on how far up the chain you want to go, you will get an MBA. I don't care if you're a shop floor supervisor, a mechanical engineer. If you want to continue to progress, you will get an MBA. Why? I don't know. That's just the way Deere does it, okay? So even in the information security world, if you want to continue to move up in information security at John Deere, you will get an MBA. That is the expectation, okay? Does that help you? To some degree, yes. Does it make you a rock star in what you do? Absolutely not. So, other questions? Yeah.
Sort of building on certifications,
Yeah.
Are there any other like must-haves you'd recommend, like experience with different programming languages or operating systems, applications?
Yes, great question. couple of different things that you absolutely must understand. One, TCP/IP. You have to have a great understanding. I'm not saying you need to be able to decode the hexadecimal dumps from, a sniffer or something like that, okay? But you need to understand the entire OSI model, okay? From the physical layer all the way through the application layer. You need to be able to talk about all 7 layers, what happens at each layer. You need to be able to communicate what's going on, okay? And the reason for that is you're going to talk to different people that have different responsibilities along that whole stack. You're going to have the cabling guys. You're going to have the network infrastructure folks. You're going to have the application developers, okay? You're going to have all of these different people, and they understand how their stuff integrates, but nobody understands the whole thing, okay? So for you to really understand all of the different attack vectors that are coming at this organization against the web app, against the database, against the network, against the OS, against the wireless, against the cable, okay, you've got to be able to understand that whole model, okay? So the OSI model is absolutely critical, okay? The second thing I would say is a great understanding of just application and network architecture as a whole. Okay? I'm not saying you have to always be able to read code. Okay? It depends on what job you want. Okay? In some jobs, yeah, if you want to be a web app penetration tester, you better be a pretty darn good coder, because you have to understand how the code works in order to break it, right? But if you're only going to look at something on the business side, well, you don't have to be able to read code, but you need to kind of be able to understand OAuth and authentication mechanisms and session management, at least to understand, okay, where's our risk here, right? Do we have enough controls in place, or what should I monitor in case something bad happens, okay? So those are 2 things that you absolutely, doesn't matter which side you're going to be on, you need to have a good, solid understanding of both of those. Does that help? Okay. What else? Somebody.
You do internships?
What's that?
You do internships?
We do. We have 1 intern now. We will have another internship in the spring and another in the summer. Maybe more. Depends on how fast we get some stuff done. Yep. Yeah.
For you with online certifications and TCP/IP, whatever the other ones were, does that carry the same weight as certifications coming from a university?
Yeah, if you're doing like the library type, certification or something like that, where it says, hey, you've got something that explains that, and you've worked with that, that's great. Again, you guys coming directly out of college, there's a balance there of show me how you applied that knowledge that you got, right? Show me that you worked in cyber defense competitions. Show me that you developed your own web app. Show me that you sat for a certification or something like that. Show me how you applied that knowledge. That could come from an experience or from a certification. So, yep. Anybody else?
So what led you to start your own company in this field?
I am actually a serial entrepreneur. This is not my first company. Back in the 90s, I had a network consulting firm and ISP, way back when modems, you actually dialed up and you listened to a little all that good stuff. I read the writing on the wall when Cedar Falls Utilities started putting fiber, or copper at the time, to everybody's house. And I said, I need to get out of this. So I sold that company. And then spent 6 years in executive IT leadership, CIO type roles. And knew I wanted to move into security. It was always something I wanted to do, but I just got married, we were having kids, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward 6 years, my wife said, no, I still don't want you to do it. The people I was working for said, well, hey, that's fine. We don't need you to work here anymore anyway. So I said, okay, wife, our options are move somewhere across country or let me start my company again. She said, okay, fine, start your company. So, but Integrity is very unique in the fact that we don't sell hardware and software. So a lot of our competition, they sell stuff, right? We are pure services. That's all we do. So there's not a lot of competition that we have that does that. And I wanted our company to be different. A lot of information security is checklist based, okay? Do this, do this, do this. Here's the requirement, what's the bare minimum? And we try and look at that very differently because I'm a business guy, right? So I understand security and technology, but I also understand business. I look at it and say, what's my risk? Okay? If I do this or don't do this, what could happen? And then I decide, how much do I want to protect against that happening? How much am I willing to spend? Is it worth it? Those types of things. And so that's what we do is it doesn't matter if we're doing a penetration test, doesn't matter if we're doing a full-on FSMA audit, it doesn't matter. We look at it from a risk-based perspective and try and help our clients understand where's that return on investment? Because you can spend a boatload of money, okay? Just ask the NSA. Good old Mr. Snowden, okay? Whether you agree or disagree, the politics, I don't care, okay? The fact remains, the NSA spent hundreds of millions of dollars on information security, and one guy broke it, okay? So you have to look at that risk model and say, I could always spend more money, but am I going to get anything out of that? So that's why I started Integrity. I just saw this huge gap as I was in my first company and then in executive leadership, and I said, we just have to change this. So we've been around about 10 years. So what else? I think I'm right about at my time limit here, right?
Getting there, yeah. Almost 6.
What's that?
Almost. It's
Okay.
5:56 right now.
Okay, good. Any other questions? Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier about how 2020 there's going to be X amount of.
1.5 million unfilled positions.
How do you see your company at that point? Do you see it increasing, decreasing, trying to stay the same?
We are growing. Like I said, I've got 5 positions. As soon as I can hire those, I will open probably 2 more. We are building a new office in Ankeny. So if you're familiar with where Jethro's is in Ankeny, we'll be just right across the lake there. So hopefully they'll break ground here in a couple of weeks and I'll be in June, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. So we are continuing to grow. I'm going to be in Dallas tomorrow and Thursday hiring a couple of people, hopefully hiring a couple of people for that office. So, I mean, we're just continuing to grow, but there's still going to be jobs unfilled. I mean, my biggest thing, I've had lots of people apply for my jobs, but like I said, if you come in and you tell me that you are awesome and that I, will be sorry if I don't hire you, and you ask for the moon and you think you can hold me over a barrel and tell me you want $150,000 and yet the only thing you've ever done is worked at McDonald's, I'm going to laugh in your face and say, sorry, we'll survive just fine without you, okay? I'm not going to grow my company as fast, but I'm also not going to pay for somebody, pay $150,000 for somebody who has no experience whatsoever, okay? So there has to be this give and take. So that's why I say there's a balance, right? Certainly, you'll be able to command a little bit more than somebody, say, an English major, okay? There's certainly going to be that, and you'll have the ability to move up quickly or change different types of roles quickly because those positions are always going to be open and filled. But quite frankly, back in the 90s, the same thing happened with network engineering, okay? Folks that were getting their CCIEs and CCNAs and were Cisco gurus and everything else could write their ticket. Here we are 20 years later. They're still needed, and there's still a ton of those positions, but they can't write their tickets like they used to be able to. So we're probably going to, hit another 10 or 15 years of this type of thing until we start getting all of you folks graduating from school and entering the workforce, and then it'll start to stabilize a little bit. So, all the way at the top. You don't even have to yell at me, man.
You mentioned before that there's a lot of positions that are open. Maybe you're not in the direct town, but you can do them from long distance. Do you think that cybersecurity is a field that enables that more, or is less?
Yeah, absolutely. It really depends on kind of what you want to do. The technical roles are probably the hardest to jump into if you don't have experience or you didn't come out, with a computer engineering degree or an IA degree or something like that. Again, that's where you've got to be able to show some experience, work in a student computer lab, get a part-time job at, Best Buy or someplace, working with the technology, doing some of those things, find your way into cyber defense competitions or, those types of things. Download Kali Linux and start messing around with the forensics tools. That's a whole nother thing that I didn't even talk about that we do, digital forensics. Yeah, there's a ton of different opportunities, and you don't have to be an engineering student or an MIS major or a programmer or whatever. You can come out of math, you can come out of history. It's all about aptitude and desire, okay? I started out as a political science major. I was going to be an attorney, okay? I ended up dropping out of college. I started my company while I was in college and finally dropped out of college. I was going to school at UNI, and I had switched to computer science and then realized I don't want to be a programmer. This sucks. I can't do this, and kind of started my own company. So anybody can do it. That's a great thing about this field is there's so much opportunity, right? Show aptitude, show desire, show passion, and you'll get a chance. Somebody will give you a chance. Maybe not all of the companies out there, but there will be companies out there that will give you a chance. Again, be humble. Okay? If you don't have experience, if you didn't go the traditional route, if you didn't do those things, don't go in asking for $65,000, $75,000, $80,000. Take that first job for a year at $40,000. Get the experience and then write your ticket. Okay? Again, don't expect everything to happen right now. You've got 30, 40, 50 years of a career in front of you. Think long term. Think, let me take this first job at $40,000, $50,000, get the experience that I need, and then parlay that into something much bigger, much faster. Okay? All right. Last thing. Secure Iowa is a conference. I'm the founding chapter president for the Information Systems Security Association. I'm also a fellow with that organization. It's an international security professionals organization. Secure Iowa is a conference that we started. This will be year number 6. It's October 2nd and 3rd. October 2nd is the pre-conference workshop. It's all about digital forensics, kind of getting started there. You'll get some hands-on. You'll get some tools. I think it's about $160. But if that's a problem, let me know, and I might know a way that you can get in for a lot less than that. The second day, October 3rd, is the full conference, and that's completely free. Okay, so the full conference is completely free. It's at the FFA Enrichment Center on the DMAC campus in Ankeny. Okay, it is a great conference. There's about 300 people or so that come. My company sponsors it with the ISSA chapter. It's a lot of fun, tons of food, good speakers, a lot of stuff going on. So get registered for that. It's secureiowaconference.com. Again, that is free on that Tuesday. If you're interested in the digital forensics portion on Monday, you can register for that as well. I'm guessing I forgot all my business cards, but you can send out my contact information if you guys have any questions, if there's anything that I can do for you. There are a ton of jobs available in Des Moines, okay, or in the metro area, including Ames. So if you're getting close to graduation or you're looking for an internship or something of that nature, reach out. I myself may not have something that fits what you're looking for, but I probably know somebody who does, and I can help put you in touch. A lot of our clients are looking for people. Being involved with the ISSA and everything, I get to talk to a lot of different people. A lot of people reach out to me and say, hey, Dave, who do you know that could do this? So feel free to use me as a resource. I'm traveling a ton over the next 6 weeks or so. So like I said, it's our busy season. So if I don't respond to you immediately, don't think I'm blowing you off. Just think he's probably flying overhead somewhere and he just can't talk right now. So, all right. Thanks very much. I appreciate it, and I wish you all the best.